Got it. And we are live. This is so awesome. Oh, Scary Berry Groupie's on. Well, hello, Scary Berry Groupie.
Scary Berry? Oh my God. Hi, Scary
That's
Berry.
Scary Berry Groupie's on.
Hey.
And got some kisses. I see little smooches, so smooch back. John
Oh.
Wayne donated $10 in the super chat with a really cool sticker. Thank you very much for that. And he also said that he got his atom fixed. It was a primer bulb of all things. Weird. It was interesting because we actually were just talking about primer bulbs and air getting into the thing. Never Trust Skinny Chef Shane is in there. Said we're going to be on the chat. Going to be late. Awesome. We appreciate you. Will Fly. And hopefully we get a couple more people in here pretty soon. The more the merrier, right? Because this is all about first flights. Welcome, Flying Flamingo Jade. This is episode 89. This is season 2, episode 89. And welcome, everybody. We got a little panel here, but we're going to be talking about first flights, mostly from the guy that just did his very first flights this last week and did 2 first flights motor-wise, and on a second flight took a selfie. Who does that? I don't know. Let's go ahead before we introduce Poohbear. We're going to talk and say hello to everybody here on the panel. We got Will Fly. You can find him at willflyppg.com. How's it going, buddy? Glad you made it today. You're on mute. You got to unmute yourself. I know, right?
I'm doing good. It's great to be here.
I mean, I saw your lips move. I could tell that you said that, you're doing all right, but all the people that are listening to us on your favorite podcasting app, I don't think they saw that.
I get it. Sorry about that. Technology, you got to love it.
I know, right? Well, you can always find Will Fly over at willflyppg.com. We also got Flying Flamingo Jade. If you don't know her, she also does a podcast every Wednesday night. You can find her at paramotorgirl.com. Welcome, Jade, to the show. How you doing?
Hi, everyone.
You got a big show going on Wednesday?
Yep. We got another gal, Alicia Lynn. She actually met us this last week in the after show and told us a little bit about herself. An amazing gal. She's like Wonder Woman, Superwoman. As you can see on my backdrop, she's a trike. She's a foot launch. She's a hot air balloon pilot. She's done the power paraglide. She does kite skiing and a lot more. I'm excited to hear all about what she does. And she's a mom of 3.
Wow. I'm excited to see this one too. That's awesome. Find you every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern at paramotorgirl.com. Speaking about .com, there's also a mother of a very famous person that always talks about his .com, Paramount USA, Linda Anderson. Welcome to the show. She's also our cheerleader. She always has her little cheerleaders going. And you just moved, didn't you?
I did.
And how do you like your new place?
Oxy, Michigan. I love it. It was like 80 degrees, but it felt like 75 here today. It was just beautiful. So
awesome.
I'm gonna get out and start walking here pretty soon. I've just been unpacking boxes after boxes. I'm like literally unpacking in my sleep. But yeah. And other than that, Thursday night, paraglidingtalk.com with your host Robert Michaels.
And you are the mom of the Robert Michaels, aren't you?
I am the mom of Robert Michaels.
That is awesome.
So awesome. I love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Linda. We appreciate you.
Welcome, chatters.
Yay. We also got JP Tulo. Everybody knows him as TikTok Tulo. He's our computer engineer that takes care of all the cool stuff in the background of clearproptv.com. He also is the only person I know that gets hit in the junk by a cat's meow and gets 2 million views on TikTok. How's that video going, buddy?
Oh, it's still there. Everybody loves that one.
So what's been new with you, bud?
Oh, just hanging out, same old, flying every chance I get. And just
Definitely appreciate you jumping on the show. I don't think that we're going to give away anything today, so you don't have to worry about doing a spinning wheel of Winnie things, but we will do that later. We will do that soon. Got a lot of stuff going on. Speaking about a lot of stuff going on, we got two people over here on the panel. We got PPG Poohbear and his lovely wife, PPG Honeypot. So welcome to the show, Michael and Jamie. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Great.
Awesome. So you guys are students, but Michael took his first flight this last weekend, and that's what the show is all about, is first flights. Now, first flights can be, I guess, what you're towing, right? I mean, because you went up on the tow machines, right? In your free flight harness, got up there and flew around and came in for a landing. So you technically have been free flying for a while, both of you guys. And just recently you put a motor on and you motored yourself up. You flew around, had some good times, and you came down and landed. Now, is that the same thing as towing free flights, or is the motor a little bit different? Welcome to the show, Michael. We appreciate you jumping on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So how was your first flight, bud?
It was incredible, amazing, spectacular. I mean, all those crazy words that you hear that you just, you think you understand what they mean, but not until you fly.
And so now we towed you up in school, what, 3 times, right? So you had 3 times for a tow. You got up there kind of high. We released you. You flew around. You came in for a landing. Was there an expectation of how much power that you were expecting from the motor opposed to the tow? Because I know the tow, it has a lot of power. I mean, it pulls you up pretty quick. So was there like a difference between the power of the tow and the power of the motor?
Oh, definitely. That tow, it was done. It was immediate. With the tow, it jerked me in 3 steps and I was gone up, straight up. The motor, I had to, get that forward momentum started. But once that was started and hit that throttle, it was out of my control at that point. It was just bopping, bunny stepping to keep up straight and guiding that kite.
Now, one of the cool thing is that I noticed too is that you ran all the way up into the clouds, right? I mean, you kept on going. As you were taking off, I saw your feet still going. You didn't sit, which was amazing. I was so afraid that, you're going to feel that lift and you're going to be like, try to sit too soon, but nope, you just kept on running. How'd that feel when you ran up into the sky the first time?
And I have always, since I was a kid, when you saw Superman take off running 2-3 steps, boom, off he went. I was raised in that generation, black and white TV and watching Superman do that. I've always wanted to step off the planet. And then the older I got,
Yes.
the more you deal with society and have you're not a kid anymore, all the troubles and, man, to be able to step up off the planet.
Now you said on the pre-show, you said it didn't feel like I was stepping off the planet. It felt like the planet was dropping down off, from underneath me, which was pretty cool. I never really thought of it that way. When you knew that we were going to do our first flights on Saturday, you had to get up early because you live 2 hours away, right? Is it 2 hours or 2.5? What is it?
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours away. So you had to get up really early in the morning to get to the field early in the morning. When you were driving for those first 2 hours, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind knowing that this was going to be your first flight?
Well, I have to be honest because my wife is watching. So she knows that.
Please be honest.
She knows that for the first hour after I wake up, there's absolutely, positively, 100% nothing going on here. The mere fact that I got down the road without killing anybody for the first hour is a feat in itself. So, but Yeah. Man, I just turned up the radio. I wasn't really. I've failed launches before on the occasions when I thought I was going to fly. So I really didn't know if I was going to do it or not. The weather I wasn't sure about, so it was, I didn't have my hopes up. I was prepared. I'm prepared. The instructions are there. The learning is there. Your voice is there. Your voice is there. I feel good about being under the wing. So, man, every time we get together, I learn something new. So that's going to continue. So, if you think I'm ready, and I felt at that time, a lot of times you've said, you're ready, let's do this. Where in the back of my mind, I've been okay, maybe. But at this point, I was prepared mentally to do it.
Well, we were kiting an awful lot, and one of the things that I told you that I need you to be proficient at is kiting. So the thing that I told you, I know that you are ready when you can do a reverse inflation, right? Get it up there above your head, turn around, go 10 steps with it above your head, turn around, walk backwards, then turn around again and keep on going forwards, turn around backwards, right? And then set it down gently. You've done that so well on numerous occasions that I knew that you had the ground schooling for it, that you had the knowledge, that you were able to do something like this, that you were able to take your first flight. Now, unfortunately, the weather has not been, in our favor for a while, but you got out there and you had no problem at all. Your first inflation, and you were on the up in the air. So let's go ahead and take a look real quick. So guys, this is his very first inflation. We didn't do any practicing or anything. And he inflates. He looks at the wingtips. It's absolutely perfect. So he rolls on full throttle, and he's running, and he's running, and he's running. He's still running. He's still running. And he got up in the air. Not only this, but we had some amazing pictures with him going right in front of the moon.
That's
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing. I mean, how many times do you get to go in front of the moon like that with amazing pictures? He came in absolutely perfect. His hands were up. He knew how to flare, one foot in front of the other. He was looking at the horizon and did not butt land. Turned around and kited the wing down, and he was just ecstatic. And the wind was amazing too. So it's like, so why don't we go ahead and just set you back up for another one? So you can see from the air, he lifts that wing up perfectly for a second flight. Make sure it's above his head perfectly. Rolls on the power, keeps on running, and running into the air, just like Superman. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I just watched this video today, Sean, and as soon as he started running and as soon as he got any altitude, I'm like, please don't get in your seat. And it was so nice to see his legs keep running, There's such a strong desire to just hop in that seat. And kudos to you, man. You did it just right. And can I say something else?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. One of the things he said is, like, on his way there, he was kind of almost not expecting to fly. And oddly enough, that is how I approach just about every flight I take. When I'm on my way, I'm expecting not to fly. So I'm not going to set myself to have to do something unless conditions are just perfect. Then I'll send it, and that way I'm not disappointed, and it keeps things in check for me. So sounds like you got the right mental attitude, man.
I like that philosophy. I've kind of always been that way anyway. I'm kind of a, when I I'm used to getting in trouble a lot. So when I do get in trouble and I know punishment's coming, I think it's going to be the really, really bad stuff. And when it turns out to be not so bad, everything wasn't as bad. So I kind of think that way. And that is a great way to look at it. I agree. Because every little step has to be right. And, not just some of them.
Look how happy you look, man. You're just stoked.
I want to hear about how you felt taking your phone out for the first time on your second flight to take a selfie. I mean, honestly, I can't remember the last time I took my phone out to do a selfie, but yet you're doing it, already. I mean, how'd you feel? I mean, were you feeling like you was going to drop it? Do you feel like you were, solid enough? It's like, no problem. I can do this. I'm amazing. I mean, how'd you feel?
Well, you had me up there high enough, and you'd had me do quite a few things, and I think 2 or 3 times you asked me to kick my legs if I was happy and wanted to keep doing. So I was like, okay, I haven't heard anything for a minute. I've got these cargo pants on, and it's right there, and we're flying straight, and we're up here really high. So click, click, reach down and grab it, and you're going to drop this phone. You're going to drop this phone. So I got my arm through there and got it to where it needed to be and smacked that picture. And I thought I was proud of myself. I was like, yeah, I got me a selfie while I was up here. And then when I got on the ground and started thinking about it, wow, what a dumbass. Because all you had to do was just flip that little switch one time. You could have had a video going, yeah, look at all this crazy stuff. This is where I'm at. But no. Too much excitement to think straight. So yeah, trying to concentrate on holding that phone. I didn't even think about making a video.
Well, I mean, you got a selfie on your second flight. I think that's pretty much amazing. I mean, that to me, that might even be better than a video, because that right there shows that you took it out, you went ka-chink, and you took a picture on your second flight. I mean, I'm still amazed.
Well, I hope a nickname or a story doesn't come out of it.
What kind of nickname could
I don't know, but it seems like that's where you're trying to go to.
Selfie sounds good.
Oh no.
what'd you say?
Selfie. Man, that's an anomaly, because I mean, it took me forever just to take my hands off my toggles or blink with both eyes at the same time.
Well,
that's just incredible.
Well, he had run me through, like he said, he had run me through the brakes. We've got the brakes put away, and we tip steer flew, and we did so many things, and it's like, okay, hell, well, I'm here. Might as well try.
Well, you were up there for a while. So, I mean, the first flight, you were up there for a while. So do you remember what we did? You took off, you went up in the air, and you were flying around. So, walk me through what you remember as far as like getting up in the air and what we did.
Basic, getting up in the air. I mean, everything went smooth, and it's still, there's so much going on.
Right.
I mean, your mind is just racing. The fact that you walk up off the planet that first time, hell, that takes a minute and a half to get over that mentally. That's just in your back of your head. You're going, you just walked up off the rock. You're flying, dude, and there's nothing around you. You're flying underneath this canopy. There's nothing holding you up. There's nothing down there. And
now I know that when I told you, it's like you're up in there, and I said, so now that you're up there, look around, look at everything that's up there. Once you got in your seat and everything was good, we had you, buzz around the sod farm, and or I said to look around, look up at your canopy, look at your lines, look at all your buckles and see where they are, how it looks, and look at your carabiners. And I know that after I said that on the ground, talking about the carabiners, you said, "Whoa," um, you you weren't expecting me to say look at the carabiners or anything, but
Well, like I said, there's so much going on. And when you're up there and you're looking at this thing, this canopy, and taking in what's going on, and seeing those strings working in the sheet doing what it's supposed to do, and the tail, the trailing edge, the changes are made with each one of them. The beauty of this apparatus is just utterly amazing. The simplicity, the capacity. I'm ignorant to what this thing can do, but I'm awestruck by what I've seen it do. It is just such a beautiful. I mean, you got to think Da Vinci. When I look at this, I'm thinking, man, I'm living inside of one of Da Vinci's thoughts right here. This is what's going on. Just the utter simplicity of it and how good it works, and the things that you could do when you're weightless.
did you feel weightless up there?
Yeah, it's incredible. That's what I'm saying. You don't jump up. The earth leaves you. It's totally different. Like you said, when you're explaining this stuff to me, this is a totally different world. You have to unlearn everything that you've been doing all your life. You can't push a string to make something move. So learning all that stuff and then seeing it come together and feeling the G-forces and feeling that rogue wind come out of nowhere and go, whoop, hey, how you doing? Or in the middle of a turn and that little, hey, where'd that come from? When you don't even know what the maximum is of this thing in any way.
It really is hard to explain to you what that first flight is in words, is it not?
Unreal.
Yeah. Do you remember this right here? You guys? This is when you first got your very first new wing.
Let me tell you, that's a heck of a piece of equipment there.
That little bit of fabric right there. And you were up in the air.
Every time I see it, it gets more and more beautiful.
Hey,
Your wife? You're talking about your wife, right?
Both of them.
Space Cowboy FPV says that he should be called Clicker.
Clicker? Yeah, there you go. Clicker.
Right on.
And there are a couple of questions in the chat.
Oh yeah, go ahead and tell us what the questions are.
One of them was, I can't remember who, I'm sorry, but wanted to know your flight experience. And I'm not sure if that means your experience flying in total, if you've had any flight history. Okay, Tommy Mosley, your flight history. Have you had history of flying in the past?
Not as a pilot. I've been in multiple airplanes, 747s, Learjets, crop dusters, helicopters. But as far as my flight experience as a pilot, 40 hours kiting.
Hey man, that counts. So 40 hours of kiting, well, I mean, that's 90% of the battle right there.
And three toes, so you almost had like three free flights.
Yep.
There's one more from Space Cowboy. He says, it's more of a statement than a question, but I'm sure you can relate. I'm getting very close to my first flight. Honestly, pretty scared, almost done with training. bought the gear, but I'm actually going to fly soon. So can you relate to that? Being scared or hesitant?
Definitely. I, if you don't have an instructor, I make sure and get one. That's the first thing you know, it may be macho to do it yourself and learn yourself, but my God, at some point when you, um, there's a line between macho and stupid. Don't cross it.
Well, tell me something. You originally bought yourself a wing and you were trying to self-train. So tell us a little bit about that self-training and why you decided to get an instructor.
Well, I never said that I wasn't stupid. I just said you shouldn't be stupid. So yeah, I've been trying to get into this for 5-6 years. I mean, just trying to figure it out. It's a hard sport to crack into, unless you're independently wealthy, and a lot of things aren't impossible when you have that. But as far as finding a training center that was close, affording equipment, life happens, da 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 da. So I've been following a group in Bulgaria, Belgium, one of the two, paramotor pilots, and chatting with them. Over the years of chatting back and forth, they were like, "Put your money where your mouth is," blah blah blah. Shit or get off the pot. And so they said they'd send me one if I paid the shipping. So I paid the shipping for the thing, and they sent me this Cadillac. And we tried to fly it. We got it up in the air, me and the wife. We had a good time playing with it, but we could see that it kept falling the same direction no matter what was going on. So at that point, I knew I had to have somebody that knew what was going on to check it and make sure it was right. Come to find out, it was a Cadillac, but it wasn't a salvage.
Cadillac, as in it's an old boat that doesn't do what you want it to do. Not it's a Cadillac. It's awesome.
Right.
This video that we're watching is when you first started to learn how to kite, and you kited on a couple of different wings. This is the Roadster 3 that you were kiting. Look at the way you are here kiting this wing. I already know that you know what you're doing wrong this time. Looking back.
Everything is so obvious. That's what I do now when I look at any videos. You can immediately see where you make mistakes, where other people make mistakes. Whereas before, when I was watching and I didn't have any idea what I was looking at, all that stuff is invisible until you learn, and then all the small stuff comes out. You can see it immediately.
What are we seeing here? Is this your first kiting? Are these your first kiting attempts?
Yeah, first couple kiting attempts. I think this is like maybe the second day or so. Mm-hmm. So we were able to push him up in the air. That's his first time that he actually got some air, and he was definitely hooked after that.
Yeah, that's wicked, man. That first flight and learning then that wing will pick you up.
Yes, I mean that was do we call that a flight? I mean, you were up there for just a couple of seconds, but you left the ground and the wing was holding your entire body, and that's what you felt the first time. And this is your kiting harness that you bought. So you bought a kiting harness, you bought a wing, and we decided that your kiting harness was really not optimal.
No, it's a one size fit all, and it's sold as a kiting harness. But it took me a little bit of adjusting. I guess a lot of the equipment you have to personalize, but this, really I had to take a lot of the slack out of it, and figure out how to knot all that loose stuff up so that it wouldn't slip around. But yeah, It was the inexpensive way out.
That's the one I used. That very harness.
We noticed that when he used this harness, one side would go up higher than the other, and learning how to kite brand new, it was really difficult for him to keep everything even, because as soon as the kite went up, one side would be up higher than the other. It may be only an inch, but an inch can take you, it can drag you to one side or the other.
Was his harness loose?
It was pretty tight. He lost a lot of weight. And if you don't know his backstory, he was a big boy. He lost a bunch of weight, and this is the thinnest I think that he's ever been in, and the best shape he's been in, because he wanted to be a paramotor pilot. So that's absolutely amazing. So right now, if you're listening to this podcast on your favorite podcasting app, or you went over to paratalk.org, what we're doing is we're watching him. I guess I don't remember what training day this is, but he's learning how to do a reverse and then turn around and go forward. And then I push him so he can get up in the air a little bit, which is really fun. However, it was extremely hot that day, I remember. However, we also, on this last Saturday, the winds was perfect. The temperature was perfect. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't too cold. The wind was laminar, and it was just the most perfect day for a beginner. Does anybody on the panel have any questions for Michael or his wife, Honeypot?
You said his first wing was a Cadillac?
An old wing that was beat up. We nicknamed it WTF.
What was it? It's not this Ozone that he's flying now, is it?
No, it was it a 10-year-old or a 20-year-old wing? I think yours was a 10-year-old wing, right?
Yeah. Andrews was a 20-year-old.
And Andrew, he bought a 20-year-old wing, and he's another guy that came to me to learn after he bought improper gear.
Unfortunately, that's a thing that you see on the forums all the time, is that people are so anxious to get into the sport, and so gung-ho, and you get a bad taste in your mouth with old gear, unappropriately sized gear. Just the wrong equipment can turn you off just as fast as you were turned on. And
Exactly.
I think that's why it's so important to hook up with buddies and people who know the sport, instructors especially, and they can help guide you through this process, because you see a couple videos on YouTube and it looks so fun and relatively straightforward, because these guys have been doing it for years and years, and of course they're going to make it look easy, but it's so much harder than it looks. And but once you get it down, and once you find the right stuff, it really becomes just an incredible way, an incredible hobby. It's
Absolutely. This is private footage that we keep within just our school, but because I know what's on it and I can stop it at any time and we're not listening to it, this is what we go over after our training every day. We video everything, and then we go over all the footage, and we go through step by step, frame by frame. Because when you're doing it, you got a lot of stuff going on in your mind as far as, I'm going forward, I'm looking at the wind, I got my A's in my line, I got my brakes, leg, chest, chin, all this stuff that, you're thinking about, and you don't get the chance to actually look to see from a different point of view how you're doing stuff. It's like when you're running, like he just did a forward inflation, what is he doing? Why did it fall off to that one side? So we go over it again, and we try to figure out what are we doing and how to correct it. So when we do it again, it's much better.
Or you end up with someone who argues a lot and swears they're doing one thing when the video shows that's not the case.
Yeah, I wonder who that was, and
in general. I'm just saying.
I don't know. People arguing and saying that they don't do what they're doing. We have had some students that swear that they are pulling the right brake when they're actually pulling the left brake. And the footage really helps as far as like showing it's like, so this is what's going on. And you can see from a different point of view actually what's going on. So I mean, the different footage and being able to go through frame by frame with someone that's been doing this for a while, it really helps. And like on this footage that I'm going to show you here in just a moment. I'm not showing this because it's another training video from someone else, so we can go here. All right, so on this part, what we're doing is we have cones lined up now on both sides. And what we're doing is we're ground handling. We're going forward in a forward inflation between two different cones. And we have cones in the middle that we're going around and through. So that way we understand that since this is a pendulum, if we want to go to the left, we have to kick it right first to kick it over to the left so we can follow it to the left. And until you do this a couple times, it's really difficult to understand how this pendulum thing works. And it makes a whole lot of difference when you have a motor on your back and you're taking off for the first time, or you're taking off, or you're coming in for a landing, especially if you are at a fly-in and you got, other people around, wings, motors, people, come in for landing and you hit the landing. You want to be able to run this wing someplace and set it down correctly. So that's a lot of things that we do also in the school. How did it feel when you first started, Michael, as far as learning how to clip in, going forward, doing the forward inflation, going around the cones? Did that help you as far as like your first flight and towing, you think?
Everything I learned has built upon itself. This is not a I don't know what just motorcycle, jump on the motorcycle and go thing. Yeah, you got to learn how to ride a motorcycle, but there's so much more to this sport than jumping on it and go. The ground handling. Yeah, if you don't become proficient in this, I wouldn't even show up in public, especially around the other paramotors, if I wasn't comfortable doing this. Yeah, it builds. You have to learn all this stuff. You're not only learning how to control that thing, but you're learning the physics of what that wing is doing and how to react to it. It's teaching you how it feels, where it's pulling from. So yeah, this is definitely imperative.
Hey,
Do you
Sean,
think? Yeah, go ahead.
Resurgence is in the house, and Todd said he had a 16-year-old wing donated, and it's going to be parted out to make a display. Best use for it at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then there was a request to see the launch videos again.
Absolutely, we'll definitely show that again. As far as like learning before you get to your very first launch or your very first tow, and all the kiting that you did at home, because once we loaned you a wing, so when you came and a harness, right? So you're able to practice at home. How much practicing during the week were you able to get before you came back down the next week?
I would get maybe 2-3 hours a week.
Well, you were working a lot back then too, though.
Yeah, working full time back then. So
yeah. If you did not have all that extra time during the week, even just a couple hours and being able to use that wing, before you came to class again, because unfortunately you were not able to just do the 2-week class. You had to come in when you were able to on the weekends. And even then it wasn't every weekend. It was like, only when the weather was good on that weekend and when your wife was available to come down with you. So how much do you think you remembered in between, coming to school and at home?
Oh, it's it's like riding a bike. Once you learn something, it stays there. and then you learn something else that stacks on top of it. It's I'm not going to a standard school where you're there for 2 weeks. I don't know how many days they get you kiting, but I could understand if you did 3 straight days of 8 hours, 10 hours straight doing this, if you could do that physically, I could see you could probably do it in 3 or 4 days, but yeah, being only being able to do it on weekends, every other weekend, whatever the case may be.
And depending on the weather.
Yeah, depending on the weather. And then we found a few pastures and fields around our house that we could play with. But that's kind of difficult too. We live in a ridge area. So we have agriculture that surrounds us, but it's a little ways out. And so finding a decent, large novice field is kind of difficult.
I remember this. That was the day that we were kiting and the winds really started getting shifty. So they went, 180 degrees at times in different directions. And you guys still were able to pop that wing above your head and did really amazing. Let's go ahead and find the... do we have any other questions that are in the chat or on the panel that we need to address before we continue? Anybody? No?
I mean, I could ask a couple of questions.
Okay.
In the pre-chat, we were talking and you had mentioned how you had confidence in the equipment that you were flying. And I can tell you that I did not have the confidence in my equipment because I really wasn't instructed to look for that confidence, or that wasn't pointed out to me, the importance of it. But yeah, you said you had full confidence in your equipment. So why would that be important?
It's just one less thing that your mind is concentrating on. Yeah, if I hadn't been drug across the field by that wing on my
your
head, literally on my head across the field. Yeah, you can see it when it's laid out in front of you. It's about 30 times bigger than that little kite that you flew when you were a kid. But you think back and you go, oh, that little kite on that string used to cut the crap out of my finger when it got up there pretty high. So this thing right here, that's 30 times bigger than that kite. All right. So the math, even if you're ignorant, redneck like me, you can do a little bit of math. And you can figure the pull in your head. And then when you get pulled across the field on a gusty day, and you really feel the power of that thing. And that's the deal, the power. That baby has power, and you better respect it.
Right on. Yeah, for me, it took a lot of the panic out of flying, each little bump that I felt, and just allowed me to enjoy the flight a whole lot more.
Agreed. Yeah. I still worry about the bumps. I don't think I've had a very bumpy. I mean, I'm sure there's some severe bumps that I'm going to experience, but yeah, until you experience it, it's still going to be a surprise. But, like I said, the more you do it and you get that experience and it builds, I am absolutely positively in love with that wing. And that's not even talking about the colors of it. Just the thing is just amazing to me.
I see your wife kind of smile a little bit when you say that you're in love with the wing, and you might want to say something about your wife, how you're in love with her real quick.
She knows. She knows that wing's got nothing on her.
Aw, I felt the love on that one. So here you are, you just landed, and we don't have the sound on, but
Probably a good idea.
yeah, you were explaining to us in real words how you felt, and you felt good. You felt alive. You felt invigorated.
Exhilarated.
Yes, and there I am on my little 9-bot, catching you with some really good video. Tommy, that's PPG Tommy. He was over there helping us. Definitely a big part of the school. He is our tow operator that tows the students up, which really helps a lot. So how'd you feel? I mean, go ahead and go step by step. How'd you feel? I mean, you look like you're just amazed and shaking a little bit.
Elated. Yeah, that was it's intense. I don't know how to explain it when you're up there and you realize that there's no shell around you. You are actually the plane. You are the bird. You're flying this thing. Your arms are up like a bird and you're controlling this wing. You have the power to go the thrust, the altitude control, and it's all you, baby. It's all you. There's no other contraption. You are the contraption, and taking all that in on that first flight, and then trying to absorb the lessons, what you can of what you're being taught while you're up there. Let's try this. Let's feel that.
Yeah, so we got you up in the air, and we had you circle around. We had you do some left-hand turns, some right-hand turns. We got you up into that 30-mile-an-hour wind, and we had you pull your trims all the way out. So you stowed your brakes and to use your tip steering. You did 360 turns to the left and right. You did a lot on your first 2 flights, a lot more than what I did.
It was a lot to take in for sure, but I mean, it was sheer joy. Man, all the rides that you've ever taken on the amusement park, all the roller coasters, all the times you went 150 miles an hour on whatever it was you went, motorcycle, car, anytime you ever jumped off of a cliff or nothing. Nothing compares to this. This is a joy all in itself. The whole experience from the time we started clicking me in. I want to say that there was fear and all that stuff, but it was just a zen state. The training, it becomes each step is like a like eating cake. Each bite tastes delicious. Buckling in. I'm buckling in, and checking this stuff and making everything right, making sure the wings laid out right, making sure the strings are where they're supposed to be, the lines are right. I guess it's almost a religion, a cult type thing, rituals, the beauty of the ritual of the pre-flight, the sport, it has a bond. That's the first thing that I noticed about this sport is the bond between the people that are participating in the sport is incredibly strong. The bond between the pilot and the equipment is incredibly strong. The bond to the rituals of flight before you take off, it draws you in. It's incredibly strong. It's such a beautiful experience. For somebody that is eat up by the woes of the world and their own crap, this erases all that for whatever time that you're thinking about doing this, because you are concentrating on this because it's such a I don't know, it's such a love.
Yeah.
You want to do it.
I agree. I agree. The love, the bond between, you know, us pilots, people that want to do this, people that are doing it, between, you know, us and our equipment, it's amazing. The only thing that I can see that it's even remotely close, I was in the military, I was in the Marine Corps, and we had, you know, really good, strong bond in the Marine Corps. I mean, you see, you know, a Marine or a former Marine along the side of the road, you know, changing a tire, you know, two or three other people are going to pull up behind you that are in different, you know, maybe in the Marine Corps, maybe just in the military somehow. And we'll all pull over, we'll help, you know, change a tire. We talk about, you know, the military and stuff. I mean, that's a bond. And I feel that we have the same bond in the paramotor community, which is amazing.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Tony's asking what kind of wing you have, I guess the size too. And then Mark is asking about your motor. You have an Atom 80, right?
Correct. It's a APCO Easy Lift R. What's the medium, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a medium. And the motor is or the frame is a Yoda with a Atom 80.
With an Atom 80 on it, yeah. And I'm kind of intrigued about that. It didn't seem to have any problem lifting me up. Seemed to have more than enough. I do want to try. I'll be stepping in Will Fly's feet and easing into that moster.
Well, you know, you can always use the SkyTap Angel. I got that, and you're more than welcome to use it. Now, I know that we originally said that we're going to get you that, let you try that Atom 80 because you had some work done on your ankles. Did you want to talk about that or not?
Yeah, that's fine. I had a auto accident 8-9 years ago. And I got my ankle caught between a motorcycle and a pickup truck and crushed it. I've got a metal plate and 11 screws in my left ankle. And then I've got a kind of a bad knee on the other side. So the lighter, the better was my thinking. And I don't have a problem with that Atom 80 one bit. It did more than what I needed it to do. I just, I'm a little boy. I like a lot of power. So, maybe I'll go to a Moster 185, but the original plan is to have a trike. And of course the wife, I'm not sure if she wants to trike or if she wants to foot launch, but I'm sure she'll enjoy doing both. She's kind of crazy like I am, and she follows me whatever I do. So we'll have to fit her for something as well.
Speaking about trike, do you want to tell them about how we're designing paramotors and trikes and stuff like that?
Well, we're going to give it a try. We're going to see if we can do this from what looking at your trike that you bought and putting my background in avionics, aircraft frames,
welding,
TIG welding. We'll see if we can't at least at the bare minimum take the trike that couldn't hold you, and we'll take all the fail points out of it and make it better. And it'll be a learning process along the way, and hopefully that we can design something that is that we feel safe putting somebody in. That'll be our key. Our point will be the safety and reliability of it, and then try to get that into a cost where we can get people up in the air. We got to get people doing this. I mean, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, they need to be flying. That's what they need to be doing.
Love, sweet flying. Absolutely. Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. What?
Well, I was going to say Resurgence PPG says, "Dang, sounds like a trike's going to be a future option." Is that an option for the Yoda Yak? Can that fit a kit?
We are trying to design a kit that will work for any paramotor, any foot launch, pretty much like the retractor trike. And there's other trikes that are out there. We're trying to design one that will be able to fit pretty much any foot launch paramotor that's out there that will be able to fit a trike on it, just like the retractor trike. We're also trying to, put together different frames and full scale trikes too, where the trikes are, like Flying Flamingo Jades, she's got a full trike. It's just a trike. However, I want the ability to be able to unclip some clips, and now it's a foot launch also. But I do like having the retractor trike is great. It's just a wheel. It's another wheel in front that retracts. That's awesome. The one that I got is really nice. It had the wheel up front. It had that just clipped on. But I really like the ones that like Eric has and Jade has, the one that actually have bars that come up this way that connect, that are more stable. There is more stability. It's down low. It's not high like the one that I was on. So trying to look for more stability. I want the design to be strong. I want it to be light. I want it to be easy to use, be able to clip on to a trike if you wanted to go trike, because let me tell you, trikes are great. If you want to, if you have a really windy day and you want a foot launch, because let me tell you, foot launching on a windy day is amazing. You do that reverse, you get it up, you turn around, give some gas, and now is an elevator. You're going straight up. Now that right there is amazing. However, sometimes in the morning you have nil wind. And it's like, man, I don't want to run today. I just want to, put the trike thing on. You set up the trike, you give it some gas, and you go. You can take, as long as you want to down the runway and slowly lift off. You don't have to worry about running your feet off or coming in for landing. You can come in and land with the wind if you want to on the trike, which is really great depending on, which way the wind's blowing. You can come in for a crosswind landing. So trikes are great. And really, when you're at a fly-in, trikes are amazing. At least the trikes that have, like a retractor trike, where you can add the trike on and you can take your paramotor and your wing and drive yourself way on the other side of the field where nobody else is, set up and go fly. Instead of trying to walk your paramotor over, set up your wing. Oh man, that gets heavy after a while. I mean, that Atom 80 is not that heavy, but you could feel it, right? I mean, it was something on your back. It was significant after a while. Yes.
Yeah. Between my first and second flight, I had a few failed launches. And at the very end, we decided to just, shut down for 15, 20 minutes, just take a break. Cause it eventually does wear on you.
Absolutely. So, real quick, everybody here on the panel, let's talk about our first flights real quick. JP, you want to talk about your first flight?
That's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, because I was just going through an old tablet, and I haven't thought about that in a long time, and I came across the footage, and it was just like, oh,
Awesome.
it's like paint watch, now.
Yeah, show us.
Not on this tablet.
We'll wait.
I would if I could. It's actually, I wish I did have it here.
Yeah, we want to see it.
Remind me, and I'll bring it on next week. Okay.
You and family.
But if I would have known what I knew, if I would have known then what I know now, things would have gone so much smoother. But at the time, I just remember thinking, man, I know all this. Like, I just remember being so confident and so, ready to go. But going back and looking at it now, I was like, man, I didn't have a clue. It just goes to show that you never stop learning in the sport, and there's always more to learn. And I love filming stuff. I love filming and being filmed and going back later on and analyzing the film.
So
And,
so
you
you
know,
so
notes
next
of,
week.
technique. And what was that?
I'm sorry, I must have lost internet for a second. So I didn't mean to talk over you. So next week you're going to show us your first flight.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot me. It's not here.
I don't want to
Otherwise, I
shoot
would.
you. I don't want to shoot you.
Shoot me a message during the week and remind me to grab my other tablet from the office. And absolutely, I'll load it on this computer and we'll do a screen share. I mean, it's nothing. It's just a typical. I think I tried a couple reverses and the conditions weren't quite right, and I did a forward, and I think my left wingtip touched the ground, but I just freaking steamrolled it. I wasn't gonna, let say no for an answer, and I eventually got it back up. And you can see I'm hustling. I got full power and I'm hustling. And all of a sudden, I hear my instructor on the comms, pressure. And I give it 2 inches of pressure and I just pop right up. And it was just like, I could have been there all day and not given pressure and never gotten off the ground. And that's why we have instructors, because, it's the important thing,
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to watch it and hear about your first flight. That's going to be really cool. Will Fly, do you have you want to talk about your first flight and how you feel? Don't forget that you're on mute.
Yeah, I was looking for. I've got a short video that shows my actual first flight. So give me a second, and I'll get back to you on that.
All right, so I got mine already spooled up. So while you're doing that, let me go ahead and spool up mine real quick and show you my first flight. We were over at the airport, a bunch of people were flying. My first motor was a flat top. I got a used flat top because I knew that, I was going to damage it. I knew that I was going to break props and I was going to damage, a light machine. So I opted for a flat top. The stigma that went with it was more than I was expecting as a new pilot. Which is why I went to an Angel, all the stability without the issues. So this was not too long after my heart surgery, and with that heart surgery, I also had a stroke. So one of my sides, my left or right side, I can't remember what it was very weak. So it was really difficult for me to stand. It's difficult for me to run, and landings. I was doing butt landings for the first 6 months, I think. Not because I couldn't pin it. It's just, just landing. I just didn't have the strength. So I was really, it was really difficult for me. But this was my first one, and I didn't understand torque. So when I took off, my hands were up. Yeah, it was a long run. And I torqued off to the right. And guess what was off to the right? Trees and power lines. So you're going to love this one. So this David Carroll actually took this video, I think. And there I am going straight to the trees and the power lines.
Oh, God.
And just barely buzzed the treetops. I just gunned it and wished for the best, and I just barely skimmed over them. And it ended up being a really fun, fun flight. Was up there for a long time. As you can see, sunset was coming around. So this is where I powered off and did some cutting left and right. Pretty much the same thing that we did, Michael. But look at this. I had all this area to come in for a landing, right? Everybody's way over here, and my instructor wanted me to come right down here. There's a big, not a creek, but it's a ditch right there where there's water. So where I landed, I had to take that big old honking machine and my wing and hump it all the way over to the side, and it was incredible. I never knew how long the glide slope is. So just like Michael, it's like, man, I'm just floating. It's just nonstop float. But here's my very first landing. And my butt hit, but I was able to stand up because I had a machine that could take that, and all my videos, all my pictures, all my little cartoon characters of me is from this very first flight. I turned the camera around and talked, and right there, with one of my smiles, I took a screenshot, and that was my that's where you see all my my pictures of PPG Grandpa. Is the very first landing right there. I forgot the perfect one, and I smiled, and that's where it was, my very first flight. So, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, right there, That's it. My cartoon of my very first flight.
Cool.
Just in case you didn't know.
All right, I'll share my screen here.
All right.
This one. Optimize. There we go. Can you see it?
I see it now.
All right. So my experience on my first flight, or my first set of flights, because I had 5 flights in one day, and the 6th one is where I got in trouble.
This one right here.
This is the very first one that
Okay.
I ever took. And I can tell you, as soon as my feet left the earth, man, I was scared. And that, knowing what I know now, I should not have been as afraid as I was at this point. But I gathered my thoughts, everything, worked out well. I'm not going to bore you with going through the whole thing and just show you the exciting parts. But at this point, probably right about here, I realized that, oh my God, I've got to land this thing. That was the first kind of, oh no. So I had set myself up to be in a state that probably wasn't very healthy. However, I want to zip right through. And here's my first landing. And I actually think I landed on my feet on the very first landing, or maybe this was the second one. I don't know. The very first landing landed on my feet, but it was all downhill from there. Okay, now so that was the 5th landing actually. So the first 5 landings were unremarkable. This right here, it was my 6th launch attempt, and that's a lot for a new student.
Yes.
Right off the bat, I mean, I was exhausted. It was hot. Notice the trees over here and the trees over here. And I'll say more about it as we continue, but there's where all heck breaks loose. I lifted up, and let me pause it at the right moment here. Okay, I'm going to lift up off the ground, because at this point I'm doing like a systems check. I don't know if something's broken or what. So I lift off the ground, and that's the first thing I see. That's
Oh,
the
no.
shadow of my brand new Parajet Maverick.
Oh, no.
So that was kind of the first day of my flying.
Oh, bummer.
Pause it from there and stop the sharing. So here's the takeaway from that. Like I said, knowing what I know now is I didn't have sufficient knowledge of the wing, what I should be doing, what I should expect. I didn't even know how to get in my freaking seat. So there's a caveat with training. If you've got an instructor that's pushing you to fly without you having a good, thorough understanding of how to kite the wing, how to, just the whole aspects. I mean, you should have a good understanding of the entire process of the first flight, from the time your feet leave the ground to the time your feet come back and touch the ground. And unfortunately, I didn't have that. So yeah, that was kind of my first, and I almost gave up the sport. that.
Oh
very
my goodness. I'm glad you didn't.
I didn't either. So here's the last thing, and I'll leave it at that. I got in touch with a couple of local guys, a local group of guys here, and they brought me back to reality, you know. But it's bad stuff happens all the time. I mean, what happened there was not entirely my fault. Oh, here's the thing. Not once was I told to look up or check my wing. I didn't know I needed to check my wing. I just thought I had to run fast, give it power, and go. You know,
If you're in the air, you're good, right?
that was it. You know, so
Oh.
anyways, good instruction is really important, and you don't have to pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for good instruction. Just have you got a good instructor if his heart's in it and he's taking the time and the patience needed to explain things to you. So there, that was, sorry, it wasn't a happy end. Well, I guess it is a happy ending, right?
You're here. It's a
Still flying.
very happy ending.
Takes what it takes, what it takes.
Absolutely. It is interesting. One of the things that I wanted to make sure in this school is that every aspect of everything that you need to know, including looking at your wingtips, how many times, you guys, have you heard me say when you did a forward,
Look at your
look
wingtips. Always.
you hear that in your mind all the time, because that's all I think that I say, look at your wingtips, look at your wingtips. When we buckle in, what do I say? I say this out loud, and you do your pre-flight. What do you say? The doors are shut and locked. The trims are set to whatever wind conditions, right? You go down and you make sure, I mean, we go through this, and
Test. Chin.
yeah, if you don't say it out loud, what does your instructor yell at you and say to do?
Say it out loud.
Yeah.
And I know that one of the things that you said is when you were flying, or before you're flying, before I was even saying anything in your ear, you were already hearing me in your head, were you not? Tell me about all that stuff that you were saying, that you already heard me in your head, and you're having a conversation with me without even me being there.
Oh yeah, when I'm flying, it happened the first time when we were towing. But yeah, there's actually two of you talking, along with the one in my head, me talking. So there's quite a bit of a conversation going on, because I can hear the automatic things that come automatic are told to me in your voice. If everything is taught to you and shown to you and given to you where you understand it, you get up there, and even if you do lose conversation and communication ability, it's there. It'll kick in automatically. And it's just funny that it's that calm, soothing, wise voice that has told you what to do, and you've seen it happen. So your brain is like, okay, yep, listen to that one, and off you go.
Yeah, I hear what Will Fly said, as far as, you know, not even knowing how to get in your seat, which sounds scary, very scary, because I know that, you know, with my students, we go through it many times on the simulator before we even go into tow. And that way, even when you tow, you feel, you know, how to get into your seat. You pin off and you fly around, you come in for a landing, get out of your seat and stuff like that. So just curious, after you took your first flight, was there anything that you felt that maybe you didn't know enough, or I should have went over a little bit more? Or did you feel like, you know, you had it down pretty well before you took your first flight?
Oh, I was confident in my training. Yeah. We've gone over it quite substantially. I mean, I don't think I could have found a more diligent teacher, because you know you've drilled the basics and what I have to know, and you drilled them. So like I said, your voice is there, and when the the circumstance arises, it pops in. And even after being in the simulator and practicing getting into the seat, you're right. It's what you don't know that's going to get you in trouble. Even after doing all that on my second flight, as I was trying to get into it, my first flight, I just lifted my legs and my butt fell right in the seat. The second flight was took a little bit more, and for some reason I couldn't get back. And as I was pulling, I started pulling and almost put me into a twist. So yeah, even knowing and practicing, things can still go awry if you're not careful. So yeah, I'm just going to go with the instructor. I mean, you guys, hats off to you, and I salute you if you're self-taught, good on you, but I'm pretty happy with the way I went.
No, we also had the syllabus, and we went through everything on the syllabus. We checked off everything on the syllabus. We went through it numerous times. We wanted to make sure that you knew everything before we even started class. What I expected of you, what you needed to do. And before your first flight, we went over the syllabus again. It was like, was there any questions you had on anything? We went through what happens if we lost communication. Where are you going to go? How are you going to land? Hand signals. Here's my hand signals. Use your feet. I know that if I ask you a question or if I do something like this, you can see what I'm doing and you can respond. And we can actually talk with hand signals and with him feet signals. So we had that all down, so we knew exactly what was going to happen. And I was very confident also in you that, if we did lose comms, you'd have no problems, follow instruction, come in and land, because I already know that you can land. We did tows.
Yeah, the lessons built on themselves, and the tows helped. And that was the only worry, like Will said, once you're up, you're like, okay, well, yeah, this is all well, but you got to put this baby down and you got to do it safely. And landing a few times just standard with, just holding on to the brakes. But then when we introduced taking a wrap, that added a whole new level to it. And man, I could really start controlling what was going on as I was landing. It was more of a passive reaction in the beginning, as opposed to, man, I take that wrap and now I'm coming in and going straight, and I have control. I'm just not coming in and dropping. I'm going to make this thing float in the way I want it to. Now I can come in, slow down, raise a little, and drop.
Absolutely. And we went over that taking a wrap, because if you're up in the air for the first time and I say take a wrap, do you even know what that is? How many times have we gone over how to take a wrap, how to properly take the wrap, which way to go, do we go to the right, go to the left, and how do we wrap it? Which fingers do we go around? If we have our throttle in the hand, how do we do that? We went through all that in the simulator numerous times. Looks like we got 14 likes. We totally appreciate it. We got 23 people, 24 people watching right now. Let's say hi to everybody that's in chat. We got Fly Baby Fly PPG. Welcome. JR Paramotor, Slow Days. Tommy Mosley is in the chat too. Resurgence PPG. Space Cowboy is in there also. We got Aaron I. Let's see who else. Kenneth Kidwell is in there. I already see Tony Marzano. And let's see who else is in there. Walter's in there from Down Under. I can see his name, but I know that it's actually printed upside down because he's upside down, right? So Walter, welcome to the chat. I'm glad that you're here, buddy, old pal. Of course, Will Fly is here. Mark Droids, Bill H, welcome, buddy. Good to see you. Shannon Brooks, and did I miss anybody? Does anybody else pop up after that? I think
CMA Honey.
Oh, okay. Honey is in here. Honey?
CMA Honey.
CMA Honey, Kelby Cox is in the chat too. Angela Preslick. Slow Days already said. Eric, PPG Lear, welcome. I know that your wife was on here earlier. I guess you guys had to drop off. I'm glad that you made it and we're able to chat for a wee bit. And CMA Honey, what's up? Good deal. Glad everyone is here. Glad we had a good show. Do we have any questions or anybody want to talk about their first flights?
I'll say Resurgence PPG has a suggestion. He says not to worry about the landings because they're going to happen anyway. So don't have to worry about them.
One way or another.
Well, we want to make sure we get down safe and sound and not have any broken gear. I think that's the number one thing. It's like, I think that I would have been very discouraged if I was Will Fly and after my first day of flying, everything broke and now it cost me thousands of dollars to continue. I think I would have said, I'm done. That was fun. I got up there. I'm done. So I'm glad that didn't happen. Now, your wife, she flew free flight with the tow. Do you want to talk a little bit about your free flight with the tow and how you felt, Miss Honeypot? Make sure you unmute yourself. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us about your tow real quick. I mean, you got up in the air.
I did. It was great.
Good. I'm glad she came on. That was a wonderful interview.
That's all I have to say about that.
Well, I mean, we also hit the bunny hill too that day. Remember? Well, not that day. We hit the bunny hill before we did the towing. So tell us about the bunny hill experience before your towing.
This is all I can say.
Well, for the people that are listening to the podcast, what are you doing? What happened?
Well, it was a very long, hot day, and regardless of how much water I drank, it was not enough, and I got dehydrated, and I cramped up in the worst way, and I thought I was dying on top of the bunny hill. And Sean, being the great guy that he is, rescued me. I'm just still curious as to what those people down below were thinking with me up there moaning and groaning and hollering. But yeah, that was my first real good day of kiting, and one of the very few great days that I had up until that point. But yeah, that's a whole different ballgame there, and I cannot wait to hit the sky.
Well, tell us about your tow. I mean, you made it up in the sky. How'd that feel? I mean, how'd that feel to leave the earth on the first time that you towed?
Well, see, I've skydived before, so I already had that. So I know what it's like, and I just want to be able to do it on my own volition instead of having to wait on a pilot to take me up and drop me off. I want to be able to do myself, and it's incredible. The tow was awesome. I would love to have been able to do that like 10 times in a row, because talk about an amusement ride. That's like, wow. The only problem was the landing, and I didn't exactly stick it, but that's okay. Nothing was broken. Everything's good.
Well, that's what the towing is all about, is to, understand, your takeoff, understand what it feels like to be in flight, understand what it feels like to get in your seat, understand what it feels like to get out of your seat, coming in for a landing, and, how much do you pull? When do you flare? I mean, that is the, a very important part of learning how to fly. Now, you did skydive. What was the difference between skydiving and that little bit of towing that you did as far as free flying?
The difference was, and the thing of it is, I mean, I would love to have the audio of my husband's first tow, because from from down on the ground, I was back at the back with you, and all I could hear was, "Oh my gosh!" So I had already experienced that. So mine was kind of chill. It was weird because I was just, Michael mentioned earlier that there's a zen. I think that's where I get when I hit the air. That's where I want to be. It's where I've always wanted to be. It's like he said earlier, There's always been, since I was a small child, I've always wanted to take a run and leap and just fly. And with paramotoring, I now have that opportunity. So that's the thing. So once I got up there, it was kind of like he had mentioned earlier, the thought process of, well, I'm just going to do what I'm doing. The motions come back. A lot of the same maneuverability is there, being under that canopy and being under that wing. It's that was there. I remembered it from so many years ago. That's not the problem. The only problem I have is that paramotor on my back kind of freaks me out. I'm afraid of how it's going to be cumbersome and a little bit, I knew that I could land. I knew it wasn't going to be graceful. None of my landings ever were, but yeah, under canopy, that's I didn't want to stop. I was upset with Tommy because he kept the toe too short.
Well,
but keep going.
Well, I got a question for you. If you have been jumping out of airplanes and flying at a lot higher speed than what we fly at, because when you parachute, you're much faster, right? So were you able to take any of the experience of being do you call it a parachutist, or what is the proper term for skydive? Yeah. That big word, skydiver. Were you able to take that skydiving experience, any of it, and use it for paramotor experience at all?
Absolutely.
You did? What part of it were you able to use?
The steering. Just the steering, though. That's pretty much the only thing that's the same. Okay. Like I said, once you're under canopy, that's where this all kicks in, where the risers and all that is there. Everything else is different. But this, wow. Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame. You're up to altitude. You jump out. Well, you say jump out, but you don't really jump out. My first experience of not a tandem jump on my own was Michael and I actually talked about it last night some. It's like you're screaming at your body to do what you want it to do, and it's not listening, because I'm hanging on a strut from a Cessna and they're saying go, and I'm going, I can't. I count down with them. My hands will not let go of that plane. And I'm flailing, ready to, I'm out of the plane. There's no going back. But can you let my fingers, they wouldn't let go. But yeah, I finally did, and made another 6 jumps after that. But it was so calm. I mean, the kind of just getting ready, not letting the fear take over before the first toe. Going, okay, it just happens, and it's so wow, just boom. Okay, I'm in the air. This is great. Okay, I want to be up here for a while. But then the ride was over, and I had to come down, and that's the part I don't like. So I got to work on that.
So I wonder, for people that maybe have skydived, before, that want to get into paramotoring, and they want to just self-train, would you think that self-training would be good? Is there enough, understanding of, skydiving to transfer over to paramotoring to self-train?
No.
I figure that climbing up to an altitude and jumping out of it would probably be a bad habit needed to be broke.
Yeah, that's not a good thing to do.
Hey, real quick, screenshot.
Oh, absolutely.
Linda, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Good deal. It's always good to have a screenshot.
I owe someone an apology. It's not CMA Honey, it's C Mahoney. So
See Mahoney.
Steve Mahoney. Oh, well, the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, right? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Probably
hate
didn't
that.
appreciate him getting called honey.
See my honey.
Sorry, dude.
Well, there's your new name, your honey.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the whole it's kind of like skydiving. There's no way. I mean, everyone just goes, "Oh, you're gonna go jump out of a plane." Yeah, it's great. Well, they don't tell you how many hours of training you get just to jump out of a plane. I mean, it was an all-day event just to jump out of a plane, because there's very minute
And then
movements.
when you did that, was that tandem or were you able to do it solo?
My first jump was tandem, and then I did
Yeah,
my.
because you can't even do it solo. Like
Yes, you can.
Can you? Like
Oh,
with
yeah.
like hours of training first, right?
It's an entire day's training. Yes, and
Yeah, but if you want to go on vacation or something and just go hop out of a plane real quick,
Oh,
like
no,
it's not allowed. Yeah.
Even tandem, there's a lot of instruction because, like I said, your body, the way you use your body, the slight movement of your hands in the wrong angle can send you into, crazy things. So that's how they do all the aerials. And I kicked myself because I didn't go back and continue it. But you wouldn't just go up and jump out and think, I hope people wouldn't do that because you're going to get hurt. The guy that jumped out before me, I actually was under canopy watching as he crashed and broke his ankle.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then it's my turn and I'm going, oh, he's not moving. Uh-oh, I've still got to land this thing. This is not cool. Why is he not moving? And yeah, he missed the drop zone and hit the field next to it and snapped his ankle. So yeah, it was an experience, but
was he a new guy or?
Oh yeah, we were all new. But he went out of the plane before I did, and then we did another circle, and then it was my turn. I was like, oh great, here we go.
How fast do you guys come down? I mean, I know that you guys really swoop and you got lots of energy to burn off before you actually, land. How fast do you come in?
I think you're slowed down to probably a good 20 below, because you're coming in pretty quick. It depends. I didn't do it that fast. But when you flare under that canopy, I mean, it's a hard flare straight down. It's not something you would do with the paramotor, of course, but under canopy, it's not 1, 2, you're pulling to decrease speed. And then when you get there, you're hard flare all the way down to hit. So,
interesting, because I got a video right here where I'm showing, how to, come in for a landing and showing, just a little bit of 1, 2, and then flaring, you just kind of slide in.
It's a whole different feel.
A whole different feel than that, huh?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things kiting I've had to learn, because I'm kind of a brute when I'm hard on equipment, as my husband would say. I'm rough. That's the way I'm used to doing things is, yanking on it. And that's the whole learning the pendulum, not pulling on it. You can't push a string. You gotta, the lines don't work that way. So this is a whole different animal than what my brain is used to. And like I said, with the skydiving, it was good, but for these purposes, it's a whole different way of thinking, because like I said, you're pulling and when they say flare, you're flared. It's not okay, ease into it. It's you're done.
Nice landing, Sean.
Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to show too is that, you can be in a sitting position, like right now, and be flaring. And as you flare, then you can kind of just roll out of your seat and stand up.
Well, I guess if you're slick like that, you can.
Damn, Skippy, I'm slick. So that's one of the things I had to really, make sure I could do is really nail those spot landings, because you saw the very first one. It's like I kind of slid in and slammed on my butt and stuff like that, and I found the secret to a really good landing, and that's what I've been teaching my students, and that's why Pooh Bear landed like a freaking butterfly. I think that's pretty important, because who wants to come in really fast and run it out? I've seen so many people come in and they just run. It's like, why are you taking all that energy and putting into your legs and your hips and your knees when you can burn it off and just come in and dip-toe, butterfly it,
Love it.
I personally love to do a foot drag to a, oh, JP said, gotta head out in a minute. Oh, man. Is it really that time already?
It's past that time. It's done been past that time, but time flies when we're having fun. It always does.
Time flies. That's good. Doing a paramotor pilot and saying time flies, that's awesome. Well, I mean, I guess if there's no questions in the chat, I mean, it's still a beautiful night out, and we got family and stuff. It's a beautiful summer before it gets dark, and so many things that we can do now. So I guess we could call it an evening. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight.
Something.
Anything else in the chat, or anything else that we want to talk
You
about?
see Todd's messages. Todd's message.
I can't see right now.
Let's see. He says, landings depend on the canopy size and profile. I jumped a really small canopy and it will compare to a free ride foot drag landing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Who likes to come in for a really, like Tucker got? He loves to come in at an angle, come in really quick, and just go for a swoop, and then just burn off all that energy, kind of doing a foot drag to a stop. Do you guys like to do that? Do you like to come in nice and slow and gentle slope? You'd like to, how do you guys like to come in for a landing, since we're talking about landings real quick?
Foot drag.
You like to do the foot drag to a landing? That is my absolute favorite, yes. How about you, JP? How do you like to land?
Oh yeah, that's the best. And the nice where I like to pull a little bit of a break about 30, 40 feet up and just kind of stall the wing out, and then you swoop doop right down in, and then you don't even pull brake when your wing levels itself out, right? When your feet just above the grass, and you just whoosh, and then you bring in the brakes as you start to slow down, and then it just prolongs it even more, and you just take a couple steps and it's all good. That's my favorite. Just a
I
nice
like that. I like how you
dragged
do that.
out. And you do that by getting as much energy going on about 40 feet up right before. And it takes a lot of practice, and you'll get it wrong a couple times.
And when you get it wrong, if you get it too wrong, it hurts.
But
Gotta do the swoop.
when you get it right, it feels good. Like it's just like it's hard to not giggle. It's a lot of fun.
It's true. I mean, when you can nail a landing, that is absolutely amazing. It's so fun when you can nail a landing.
And someone sees it.
Yeah. That
And you have to have it on video.
Get it on film or someone sees it, it's even better, because it's like a fishing story. It was this big, this foot drag was 1,000 feet long.
Here's a good question though before you go.
Yeah,
Paramotor Mahoney asks, how do you practice something like that?
I guess you would go up higher and do what I was saying. You want to practice your I forget what they're called, but they're like pitch oscillations, where you pull brake on both sides. You pull it and you count to 1, 2, 3, and you feel your wing go back, and then you drop it, and then your wing's going to surge forward, and then you're going to fall back, and then it's all about getting to learn the wing. Every wing's going to do it differently, and you're feeling that storage of energy, if you will, and how how long your wing is going to take to react, and how long, because it's all about the timing. And I guess you would practice it by starting high and keeping your engine on, and just saving that power to get out of trouble if you get it wrong. And you'll know if you're going to get it wrong, because you're going to be coming in really fast and the ground's going to be coming up at you. And but it's all about practice. Practice makes perfect. And yeah.
I think you're talking about the whip stalls, right? Where you have, so you can do whip stalls, which is, kind of the motor off, or, you're cruising, probably motor off, and then you pull the brakes, pull, right? You start really slowing down. Then as soon as right before you stall, you let up, then you go in, you do that big swoosh, you come back up. As you're coming up, you start pulling the brake again to slow down, to stall your wing. So you come up like this, you're stalling, then you let go, then you're doing this number. So you're doing a whip stall, which is really fun. I practiced that in the SIV. Then you can also do the porpoising or the dolphin, where you use your throttle to go vroom, and you go up, then you let go, pull, let go. So there's all sorts of fun stuff to do. Love it. Yeah, I know. Once you get into this stuff, there's just so many cool things that you can do. I love the G-forces too. Let's see. Anything else in the chat before we go? The chopper pilot there was amazing. Tommy said. Randy Milstead said hi. Tony Mazzarno said indeed. What else? Did I miss anything, guys?
You got it.
I think we did. I think we did really good. I don't know what Tommy said about student rips open heart is crap. Not fake news. Okay. I guess I need to go back and read and stuff and see what it says. Oh, Resurgence PPG. I didn't see the ones that he said to me. Landings depend on the canopy. Okay, I see that. And the accuracy of the canopy comes down vertically, so the descent is much slower. Okay. Yeah, I don't have this on all the time, and I really should, but it's hard to do everything over here. Once again, thank you so much, everybody. If there's no more questions in the chat, I guess we'll all sign off. Let's go ahead and start with Will Fly. Oh, actually, JP, because he's got to go. JP, tell us about yourself real quick, where we can find you and your .coms.
Always a pleasure, guys. I love flying. You'll catch me on various shows throughout the week. Robert Michaels on Thursday. Shane's on Tuesdays. Flying Flamingo on Wednesday. Will Fly on. Do you have a day yet, Will?
No,
No.
I'm not
Will
gonna
Fly. Will Fly should do Fridays. Will Fly, just do Fridays. So you.
Friday. Anyways, check me out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, JP Tulo, www.jptulo.com will take you to one of those. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever, or don't, whatever. I just like making cute little clips, whatever, fun stuff, with whether it be with the cats or the flying or whatever, it's all about having fun with it. So
That's right.
Well, thank you, JP. We appreciate you, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow on Shane's show. You find Shane's shows tomorrow on Tuesdays. He just hangs out and talks about paramotor cooking, whatever comes up. You find him on ppdshane.com on Tuesdays. How about you, Will Fly? Talk about you and your fun shenanigans. You got some really good videos out there too, don't you?
Yeah, man, I love flying paramotors. I love making videos about them. You can find me at Will Fly on YouTube or willflyppg.com.
I love that .com stuff. We also got Linda Anderson. She's our PR chick. She's our paramotor mom. You find her at paramotormomusa.com. And if you want to be on the show, just get up with her, paramotormom.com. Len's on her Facebook page, Linda Anderson. And I think she's a mom of somebody famous on Thursday. What's up with that?
I'm the mom of Robert Michaels, paraglidingshop.com every Thursday night. Y'all come out and join us. We have a good time. A lot of fun.
Do you tell Robert that we talk about his show all the time on ours? Do you let him know that? Does he
Oh,
even
yeah.
does he even know that we have a show?
I know.
Yeah, he's got to come on our show now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've
I'll
been trying to
drop
get
in.
I've been trying to get on here, but usually on Monday night he's flying. Monday night he's flying.
If I didn't do this, I'd be flying too, and I'm sure that's why we don't have a lot of people on here. I mean, Monday nights is a good night to go fly, so I understand, and I appreciate everybody that does jump on the show, that jumps on the
Yeah.
chat and hangs with us. I really appreciate it because I know that there's so many things that you could do other than be in the chat or be on the show. So I really appreciate you guys.
Oh, I do too. I love my chatters. I love everybody. You guys are my para family, all of you. I don't fly, but you're so much a part of my life. So
Absolutely, and absolutely, 100% agree.
Yep.
And also to our guest and his lovely wife, we got PPG Poohbear.com, Michael and his wife Jamie, PPG Honeypot. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. How do we get up with you? I know I just said your .coms, but you can tell us more about yourself. Let Jamie talk first because she does something else that she might want to talk about. What is your other business that you have that you might want to talk about real quick?
Well, I am a Lime Life beauty consultant, and y'all can find me at www.limelifebyalcone.com/Jamie Flommer. And that is my skincare and makeup business. And it's what I do. It's what I like. So if I could have my way, I'd do my Lime Life and my Paralife all at once.
Ooh, you said Paralife. That I'm sure Mark McElroy would love that. ParalifePPG.com. We got to plug his stuff in real quick too. So we love you, Mark. Now you also have a .com too that goes to your YouTube channel for your flying and your paramotor stuff. What's that?
I'll let my husband take over from there.
Oh, okay. So husband,
Yeah.
Michael, the
She's on.
new pilot. Tell us about all your .coms, where to find you, and how can we get up with you and hit that bell notification?
Well, you can find the beautiful wife on YouTube. She's at PPG Honeypot. And you can keep up with me on YouTube at PPG Poohbear. You can follow our journey on ppgstringlife.com. I've got a blog on there and just kind of giving the world a view of this beautiful sport and trying to entice people to get involved. Keep you up to date with how we succeed and how we fail so that other people can see where they need to improve themselves, and maybe we can keep some people safe and just grow this sport.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, thank you very much for joining us, everyone, especially our guest, Michael, and congratulations on your first flights. We loved watching that. That was really amazing. Taking that selfie up there too on your second flight. And, it's going to be really cool when you come over here and we start doing some cross countries and some real life adventures. I guess we can tell everybody real quick. It's like, is anyone listening? Shh, this is really quiet. We are going to take a trip. It's going to be a really neat trip with a bunch of paramotor people. We're going to fly and we're going to go to a airplane boneyard where they scrap airplanes and stuff. We're going to fly to a place and get lunch. So we're going to take off someplace, fly to a restaurant, pick up some food, fly to the boneyard, land there, eat the food while walking around and checking out all the boneyard, all the planes, and then fly back for another part of an adventure that's going to be really neat at the very end. You won't believe it. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed to all of our channels.
Oh, I'm excited. That sounds super cool.
It's going to be amazing. Amazing.
Shane's out there. There's an after show.
No, we're just gonna close out and hang with our families and stuff like that. Haven't been able to hang with my family for a while, so
Yeah, gotta hang with the family.
Gotta hang with the fam, or else
I
you know
know.
they're not gonna let me. They're not gonna let me do this anymore if I don't hang out with the fam, right?
I'm telling you, yesterday I went to my son and his girlfriend's house and everything, and I did my laundry and we barbecued, and it was hung out with the family, and it was awesome. That's what you do.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much again. Totally appreciate you. Love you all. Don't forget Shane shows tomorrow, ppgshane.com. Over on at Wednesday, we have paramotorgirl.com. On Thursday, there's this famous guy, but I keep on forgetting him. His name is what? What is it again, Linda?
Robert Michaels.
And you can find him where?
Chalk.com.
Right. That's awesome. And there's also something going on Sunday. What's that one on Sunday?
Our Paramotor Nation.
Bingo.
David Wolf.
With the woof. I wish that he would call himself the woof. I mean, I think that's so cool. It's like Paramotor Nation with the woof.
That would be cool.
I know, right? I always think of that. Every time I hear about Paramotor Nation, I always think about the woof. That's because we got a radio station over here called the Wolf. So, you know, I just hear the wolf. And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
all right, guys. Thank you so much. And we're out at 5,000. You guys right here, don't go nowhere. We're going to chat for just a moment after we kill the live stream. So y'all have a great evening, and we'll catch you all on the flip side. Peace out. Now the recording stopped. Now hold on. We're going to end the live stream. So bye-bye, everybody.
String off.
Bye. Love y'all.
All right. So ended the live